And it's time for our final preview, final division in this 6-episode MLB preview that Keefus and I have been doing on A Shitload of Sports. The wet spot has been running this whole thing. Dripping. But without him, it would have been the dry spot because he knows this shit better than I do. So
I am the Astroglide of baseball.
Yes. Holy shit. Oh, National League East, we're going to start with.
Let's start with the Atlanta Braves.
Boston Braves. Boston Bees for a couple of years in the 30s, remember?
They're moving into a new stadium.
Yes.
You know, because that stadium that was built in 1996 is not good enough now. So
but I know, wasn't that like kind of a quick the Turner, the
that
Ted?
Stadium was built for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I guess they wanted to. They figured more of their fans are from the Marietta area up that way, like Cobb County, where Big Boss Man was from.
The Big Boss Man, Cobb County, Georgia.
So they built their stadium up there, but
better than Fulton County Stadium, I guess.
The launching pad.
Yeah, that was a kind of a dump. It looked like.
Well, it was like it was a cookie cutter.
60s fucking stadiums.
Yeah. So, all right. At catcher, they have Tyler Flowers with Kurt Suzuki backing them up. You remember Kurt Suzuki?
Oh yeah,
former,
I do.
Seattle
Padres.
Seattle Pilot.
He 1969.
Yeah.
Ball 4. Jim Booten.
First base, they have a great star in Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he's
great hitter.
Solid. Yeah.
Always beat up the Mets. Anytime I would take my kids to a Met game, it was always against the Braves because my nephew was, for some unbeknownst reason, I know why, because it's Chipper Jones. He was a Chipper Jones fan. He was a Braves fan, so I would say, all right, I'm going to take you to a game as well. So I would take him.
So they both are happy.
Freddie Freeman would light them up all
So
the
he
time.
basically took the place of Chipper because Chipper,
pretty much.
He fucking hit so good at Shea. He named his son Shea.
So now Freddie Freeman should name his kid City.
Yeah.
Second base, they have Osenio Albiez. Ryan Shrimp is going to be backing him up. Johan Camargo is going to be playing third base. Shortstop is Dansby Swanson. So these are all young rookies that are going to be coming up because they kind of broke their team apart. They broke their team apart and tried to sign, young guys. Tried to sign free agents.
For this moving into the new stadium. That was the whole idea, right?
And the GM screwed up something contractually, and a lot of their contracts got canceled. So they were able to be, released, and other teams were able to pick them up.
Back on the market, yeah.
Yeah. Left field, they have Nick Markakis, who's been around a while. He was a former Oriole. Ender Incenciarte will be playing center field. Now, in right field, they're going to be starting a rookie they're very big on, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh.
He's supposedly like their superstar.
He's their top prospect.
Top prospect.
Okay.
Starting staff, Julio Teheran, who's actually very, very good, actually, in my opinion. I think he's underrated because of the speed that he throws. He moves the ball around very good inside, outside. I know this because I had him on my fantasy team last year, so I got to watch a couple of his games because I had interest in it, and I was very impressed. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the run help, and he didn't. He got no run production, so he would pitch to a 3 ERA, but yet only win 10 games. Yeah. Brandon McCarthy is going to be starting for them. They just released Scott Kazmir, so they're going to be obviously having to bring somebody up from the minor league. Mike Fultonowitz and Sean Newcomb round out the starting lineup. So
not a great staff.
No. Aroydis Vizcaíno is their closer. Peter Moylan, Daniel Winker, Jose Ramirez are their relief pitchers. They're not. I don't think they're going to be able to put together a team that's going to compete this year. I don't know if they're going to be able to put together a team that's going to compete next year. I think that they're a 3-4 year project.
Which is kind of weird because it seemed like they were building up into putting a good team together. Like they were starting to pick up little pieces, tooling for this season to be...
for the new stadium.
To try to at least contend for a wild card berth.
Right.
I'm reading those names. I don't see it at all.
Well, they may win 70 games. They may win 75 games, but they'll definitely not be in last place because the team that will be in last place is going to be the Miami Marlins.
Derek Jeter's
own.
The former Florida Marlins.
He's a 1.5% owner, and he's the face of the team.
That's fucking funny, right?
Yeah.
But that's how much his star value is like. He's just magic, that guy.
At catcher, they still have their only real superstars, J.D. Rimalto. is their catcher.
Yeah, they traded away a lot of
Realmuto,
pieces in the offseason.
First base, they have Justin Bour. Second base, former Yankee, who they traded Stanton for, Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
Third base, journeyman Martin Prado.
He was a Yankee, too.
Yeah,
yeah.
And a Met.
Was he?
No, I'm sorry, he wasn't a Met. He was a Yankee. He was
remember him with the Yanks.
JT Riddle is their shortstop. His career is going to be a riddle. Who knows what's going to happen?
Parties, that guy.
Derek Dietrich's in left. Lewis Brinson's in center. Cameron Maben, who's the former Padre.
Has he ever reached his potential? This guy was supposed to be like fucking Willie Mays at one point. They were saying when he was in the minors.
He was this tall, fast guy who was going to, just...
he got traded for some big names.
He was going to be Willie McGee.
And what happened to this guy?
He turned into Tits McGee.
He's been all over the fucking league.
Starting pitching, Dan Straley, Jose Urena, Adam Conley, Odersamer Despain, Dylan Peters.
They should bring back Charlie Huff.
Yeah. Charlie Huff and Al Leiter. Yeah. Relief pitcher, they have Brad Ziegler closing, but it's going to, I think, between him and Kyle Barraclaw, who's in their bullpen. Drew Stickenrider, Nick Whitgurton, and Chris O'Grady. So
they're going to have a fucking long season.
They're going to have a long season.
And they have a terrible stadium. That's like a fucking pinball game.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know what
I know you wanted to move out of the fucking... Joe. I still call it Joe Robbie.
Yeah,
I can see that. I've been to games at Joe Robbie.
You didn't have to build
baseball and football.
The same thing, but indoors. That's essentially what they built. They built the same thing indoors.
Goofy shit in the outfield when they hit a home run. There's
and it's far. It's like 420 to center.
Not a good. There should never have been professional baseball teams in Florida. It's a spring training town, and the terrible fucking attendance at the Marlins and the Rays games is proof positive.
And I'll be at a Rays game on May 31st. I'll be at the Rays Red Sox game. I'm going away with my family, so
I will be
reporting live from Tropicana Stadium, sending pictures so Joe can put them up on Muscle Sport Media. And I think I'm also going to do a vlog. I'm going to try to do a video log live
that would be fucking
from the game, sending it in.
I would love that.
Hopefully my kids do not... I'm sitting in the upper decks on the front row, so hopefully one of my kids does not jump off the upper deck.
No, but make sure you're not paying attention because you're doing a vlog. What's more important? Child jumping is much more important.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the vlog's pretty important, though. Well, they may jump anyway, so who knows.
Take a fucking picture of that ceiling. I'm dying to see how that looks from the inside.
I will. I'll be reporting live.
It looks dreary from TV.
Live from Holy Saturday, Easter Saturday in Tropicana Stadium.
Coming up very soon.
Next, we're going to go to a big up-and-coming team. My pick for the second wild card in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Wow. Now that is a ballsy good pick.
Okay. Catcher, they have Jorge Alfaro. First base is a young up-and-coming stud named Rhys Hoskins. Cesar Hernandez is playing second base. Third base, their guy that's been around for a while, Mikael Franco. J.P. Crawford plays short. In left field, they're going to be going with Aaron Ather. Center field is Odubel Herrera, and right field is Nick Williams. Now, you say to me, are you nuts? Who the hell are these guys?
Let's talk about that staff, though, because they just made a big fucking move.
They just made a nice move.
Yeah.
They picked up Jake Arrieta. They have Aaron Nola, Vince Vasquez, Gerard Eichhoff, who is excellent. He's very underrated.
How he's an Eichhoff.
Yeah. Nicholas Pivetta. So their staff is going to carry this team. This is a team of young players. They're going to make a move. They're going to make a move in this season because they're going to see that they're in the hunt, and they're going to pick up a bat. And I think once they do that, it'll probably be an outfield bat. That's my opinion. They have enough young talent. They remind me of the Cubs. Not the year they won the World Series, but the year before.
Yeah, when Bryant and those guys were first
when
started.
they first came up and they first started. Hector Neris is their closer. He's very good. They have Tommy Hunter and Pat Neshek, Adam Morgan, and Luis Garcia in the pen. This is a good team. This is a team that can win 90, 91, 92 games. I'm calling that right here.
He knows the sport better than I do, so I'm surprised.
But that's not that much.
Yeah, but to me that's a nice pick. You fucking really you're looking for snake eyes on that. And if you hit him, you're the biggest fucking champ in the world. If you make that prediction,
we'll see what happens because they're battling this team who's probably going to walk away with the division.
Yeah.
The Washington Nationals.
Yeah, they're a good fucking team for a lot of years now.
They put it together in the regular season, but they can't put it together in the postseason.
Yeah.
Matt Wieters behind the plate.
But they got a new manager this year, so that's...
They do.
Remember, they don't have Dusty. They don't have the old calming influence and experienced Dusty Baker on the bench anymore.
No. But with Matt Wieters, Ryan Zimmerman at first, Daniel Murphy at second, Anthony Rendon at third, and Trey Turner at shortstop. That is the best infield in baseball.
It's a very good infield.
That is the best infield in baseball defensively and I believe offensively.
They could hit too, yeah.
You know, as much as you look around the Yankee infield, well, now Greg Bird is hurt. You know, this is, in my opinion, the best infield in baseball. And they can hit.
It's easy to make that argument.
Yeah. Adam Eaton in left field, Michael Taylor in center field, and Bryce Harper is in right field. You know, that's a quality outfield. Bryce Harper is going to hit 40 home runs for you.
It's his walk year.
You know.
Right? They signed him to that 1 year extension, so you know he's going to fucking hit the ball like crazy this year.
And here it is. Max Scherzer, Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, Tanner Roark, A.J. Cole.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
That, again, the best staff in baseball.
Ridiculous staff.
The best staff in baseball. The Dodgers have the second best. This is the best staff in baseball.
Ooh, I'm going to have an argument about that when we talk about the next team.
Sean Doolittle's the closer. Brandon Kinsler, Ryan Madsen, Sean Kelly, former Yankee, Joaquin Benoit, Eddie Romero. This is...
Ryan Madsen's been around a long time.
He was
former Philly. Big, tall right-hander. Very imposing on the hill.
This is a close to 100-win team.
Yeah.
This is a team to be reckoned with. This is the best infield in baseball and the best staff in baseball right now.
So you say they win the division easy. I say they win the division fairly easily as well. I don't think they're going to have much of a fight from the rest of this division. But the one team that we're going to talk about before we finish, I'm going to think that they would be the best team to fight with them.
Meet the Mets.
Yes. And now you have to realize... I never wear my fan hat when I do work. I did, before I said fuck the NFL, I predicted my favorite team, the Jets, to be 1-15 last year. So I don't not a guy that's going to say, my team's going to win, I don't care how bad they are. When the Mets are going to play like shit, I'll be the first to admit it. And there will be a caveat in my prediction about the Mets, where they could be good or they could be bad.
So I'm going to let Joe take over this. I'm going to read out the players, the positions, and I'm going to let Joe... hopefully not break the table because he's going to get frustrated.
No. I actually like this team.
Catcher, we got Travis d'Arnaud and Kevin Pilecki.
Okay, now d'Arnaud never reached his potential. Injury prone like crazy. A very good hitter when he's healthy and when he's on. Not so good behind the plate. You look at him, he's a very athletic-looking guy. He should be able to sling that ball down there, but he gets stolen on a lot. And then they blame the pitcher more than the catcher sometimes. That's been kind of the new thing now. It's not the catcher's fault. The pitcher takes too long to deliver the ball to the plate, especially an off-speed pitch. d'Arnaud has been a disappointment, but I think he is definitely a kind of guy, if he does hit the ball well, you're going to look at him as one of the more higher-end catchers around the league. Mm-hmm. Again, injury prone. Plawecki, they were high on him coming up out of the minors. He's never hit the ball in the major leagues, though. But I think he's the kind of guy you have. They've been toying too much. They have Rene Rivera the last 2 years as the backup, who ended up the starter for a lot of games. Put Plawecki as the backup. Give him a lot of at-bats. You know d'Arnaud is going to get nicked up, so Plawecki will be starting at some point in the year. I think with more of confidence built in Plawecki, he will become a very good backup catcher to d'Arnaud. If d'Arnaud's out and Plawecki has to start for a majority of the year, they're going to be weak behind the plate because I don't think he's ready to take that spot.
Okay. First base, Adrian Gonzalez and Fat Dom Smith.
I think they're going to be weak at first base. Gonzalez was a fucking scrap heap pickup. He's not in good shape. He's still very nimble and nifty. He's a great fielder. He is nothing like the Gonzalez from the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the Padres, especially where he started. That's where he really became a big-time player. Dominic Smith, He came into camp in shape.
Fat Dom Smith.
But he came into camp in shape, though, actually. He lost about 30 pounds, and he came into camp looking good, and he was ready to go. He was talking a good game, but a humble good game. And then he got, like, nicked up in the first fucking pre-exhibition game, and he hasn't been seen since. So it's like, what is going on with Dominic Smith? That will be a position I think they're going to have to address somewhere along the line via trade or somebody on the free agent market. And it might not even be a real first baseman. It might be like an outfielder, like a Jay Bruce they put at first. I don't think they're going to stick with these guys. I think by midseason, Gonzalez is going to be released. And Smith, I don't know if he's ready to play full-time. He hit terrible in his 4 or 6 week audition last year.
6 week, yeah.
He batted under 200. So I don't know if he's ready.
Second base, they have Asdrubal Cabrera and Wilmer Flores.
I love Wilmer Flores. I think he should be starting. Asdrubal was a very good shortstop. He was bitching and moaning a little bit. Didn't want to move to second when they brought up Rosario, but then he ended up doing it, and he did fairly good over there. So I think between those two guys, they're in good shape at second base. Now, going back to first, Wilmer can also play first. They may have that replacement for the first baseman in-house because they can give Wilmer, who, if he's got a lot of at-bats, hits a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
And there's no crying in baseball.
No.
I was very glad they kept Wilmer. I always liked him. Wilmer, I always say when he comes on bat, I yell like Fred Flintstone. Wilmer.
Todd Frazier at third.
Love to pick up. The Yankees liked him last year. I mean, he was good on the Cardinals.
No, that was
his thing. Yeah. The Yankees, obviously, they wanted to keep him, but they didn't want to give him the money. He was out on the market for a while. The Mets needed a bat. And the Yankees, it's almost weird. It was almost like Neil Walker for a kind of almost like a swap in a way, free agent swap between the two New York teams. I think he's going to do good with them. Third base has been a fucking thorn in the goddamn Mets side since 1962. They've never had when they had Ray Knight and then Hojo, and then you have Ventura for a few years. But all in all, that has been a black hole for this franchise. And he's a stopgap guy, Frazier. If he's healthy, he'll hit the ball okay, and he's a good fielder. He can play second, he can play first, he can play third. He'll be okay.
He can play first. He could be your first baseman.
That's another thing.
And you have to have Reyes then go over to third. Or Wilmer Flores at third.
Yeah, they do have a lot of options in the infield because they do have some versatile guys. So
Ahmed Rosario at short.
Is Ahmed Rosario going to be the top prospect? Yeah. I think you put him out there. I don't know if he's a leadoff hitter because he's not patient enough. I think he's got
like a Ray Ordonez. Put him bat him ninth.
That's what I think. Yeah. Put him at the end of the lineup. Tell him not to worry about his offense. Have good range at shortstop. Save runs in the field. Don't worry about producing runs at bat. And eventually he'll turn into a decent full-time player. But we'll see. You have to give him the chance. I think this is the right time.
You have Cespedes in left.
When he's healthy, MVP candidate. When he's hurt, huge hole in the lineup.
Jay Bruce in right.
Brought Bruce back. They like Bruce. They traded him to a contender. They traded him to the Indians. He did well for Cleveland in the postseason. He likes the Mets. He's a good clubhouse guy. I think that was a smart move bringing him back. And I think if he's another guy that's not in great shape, but it doesn't seem to affect him.
And center field, they're going to go with the Conforto, Lagares, Nimmo, depending on who's healthy, who's playing well.
Conforto starting the season on the DL. They've already announced that. Obviously, if Conforto's healthy, he's the best out of that option. That capsule shoulder, that's a bad injury, and he got it swinging. He's a tough swinger. Another guy they kind of forced into the leadoff spot. Not a perfect leadoff kind of guy. I hope he's healthy, and if he's healthy, he's good. They like Nimmo. Nimmo is a guy that came up, and they like him.
Where did they find Nimmo?
Finding Nemo. Oh, see, I'm a student. I'm in my fucking
you're
sports
sorry. I'm
taking you out
of the.
No, that's fine. It's good. I'm usually saying dick jokes and ruining this show.
Yeah.
And Lagares, obviously, I don't think they should have signed him when they did. I think they threw too much money at him. He's a great fielder. He won a Gold Glove, obviously, but not an everyday player. Good guy to fill in. He can play all three spots out there as well.
DeGrom, Syndergaard, Harvey, Vargas, and now that Wheeler's gone.
Not gone.
Maybe since they released Colon, maybe Bartolo comes back.
I love Big Sexy. But let's start at the top.
DeGrom.
I'm going to go. No, Noah Syndergaard's the opening day starter, and my prediction for National League Cy Young Winner of the Year.
Oh,
Keefus will give his prediction, but I figured I would just throw that out right away. I think he's smarter this year. Last year, he came in too muscular. He was trying to throw the fucking ball through to catch his mitt. He's still throwing aspirins, even in spring training. The guy has got the best fucking game face in the game, if you ask me. Even when he first came up as a fucking rookie, he had that veteran game face. This is like Bob Gibson intimidation style, Noah Syndergaard. And I'm putting a big, heavy name on his back with that. Because Bob Gibson would got guys shitting in their pants.
Still to this day.
Yeah. He's a mean fuck, right? So I think
Bob Gibson and Norm Cash. Norm Cash might piss his pants.
I think Thor is going to be healthy this year. I think he's going to win 20 games. I think he's going to win the Cy Young. I think he's going to have a fucking ERA in the fucking mid-twos, which in today's game is almost unheard of. Noah Syndergaard is the key to this team success. Not Cespedes, Syndergaard's. Because I think they'll have enough offense to get, unless Cespedes is out for like a 60-day DL or forever. They can get a few 15 days, a few 7. That's okay, that new 7-day DL, 10-day. They'll survive without Cespedes. Long stretch without Syndergaard, team is dead in the water. Jacob deGrom, I think, is going to be nipping at his heels. He's a fucking excellent pitcher. I like the long hair, though. Why'd he cut his hair? Grow the hair back, Jacob. It gave you that intimidating look like the fucking Thor has.
Samson.
He did have but I think he'll still be able to pitch okay. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be as effective as Noah Syndergaard, but he's going to win a lot of games. So he's a 15-game winner. Third spot, they did not give it to Matt Harvey. Vargas, but he's starting the year on a DL.
So Gazelman?
No, Lugo is the fifth starter, but Steven Matz is getting the third start.
Okay.
So
he's finally healthy.
The lefty from Long Island, local guy, so me and Keith, the fucking big, boosting of the Meet the Mats. Mm-hmm. So they're giving Mats, I think, a big confidence booster. But now it could just be the matchup in the first 3 games of the year, but he is starting game number 3 for the Mets. He had a bad start to the spring, and then he was really good. Another guy, frail, injury-prone. If Mats is healthy, the Mets are a better team. Again, it's the health. Is he going to win 15? No. I think Steven Matz could be a lefty version of the Bobby Joneses of the Mets world. A 12-10, 10-10 kind of guy with a decent ERA. Keep him in the game. He's a crafty lefty.
Like a Pete Harnish.
Pete Harnish was a good Met. Good,
another Long Island guy.
Yeah, Astros, right? He was a very, very good ball player, but not a Cy Young type of guy, but he kept you in the games. So I think if Matz could be, he's not a stud, but I think he can be that type of pitcher. Then as the 4th starter, how many teams have a 4th starter like Matt Harvey?
Right.
Now, is Matt Harvey going to, I believe this is his final year, right?
If I'm not mistaken. Final year under the contract he has now with the Mets.
Now, walk year guys have big years all the time. And I think Matt Harvey's going to have a huge year, and the Mets are going to let him walk, but they're going to get what they need out of him this year. Matt Harvey's too much of a fucking playboy. He's got to take a little more of the Derek Jeter lessons. And you could fuck models, but you can't fuck up on the field, and you can't be late for games. And he had just stupid.
Can't go to Ranger games.
Yeah, he did many dumb things during the season that New York fans don't forgive and don't forget for. If he's the Matt Harvey starting the 2009 All-Star game.
Throwing seeds.
Right? Was it that game? Well, no, it was a few years after that, was it?
No, it was, was it 9?
That was the first year of City Field, so no, he hasn't been around that long.
No,
so.
Maybe it was
12. Whatever 13, that, I'm
yeah.
mixing up the first year the ballpark opened
12
up.
or 13.
That Matt Harvey can fucking take his dick out in front of 3 old ladies and ask him to suck it, and Met fans will cheer for him because he was a fucking stud.
Producing.
He was an animal. But when he's late for games and fucks up and they think maybe he had a hangover, that's why he didn't show up to the ballpark, he got suspended for the 1 game, that Matt Harvey will not be forgiven. I think Matt Harvey is going to be on his best behavior and pitch, maybe not his best because that first couple of years he was really on.
Right.
You have to also remember, this guy has had arm problems in the past. I think Matt Harvey, he'll be their 3rd starter before the year is out because I think Matt's is going to fizzle or go on a DL. So Matt Harvey is going to have a big year for the Mets. He may have a couple of little skip a start here and there because of the arm woes and stuff. Right now, the 5th is Lugo. I'm not a big Lugo fan. I mean, him and Gazelman came up in that 2016 year, and nobody knew what they were about, and they kind of led the Mets to the wild card when they lost to Bumgarner 1-0 in the wild card game at Citi Field, the year after they played in the World Series. So they had an off year last year. Both of those guys, Gazelman, who's starting in the pen now this year. I think Wheeler. I'm a big Zach Wheeler supporter. He was the first guy that they were kind of rebuilding with, and they were going again with that pitching. It was almost like the old 60s Mets. Matlock, Kuzman, Seaver, Gentry.
Ryan.
I mean, he's got Ryan. So they had, I think they were kind of going for that type of thing. And Wheeler was the first one in place to be on the big league team because they made a nice trade with the San Fran Giants for Beltran and got their top pitching prospect. It was a magnificent trade by Sandy Alderson, and I think do not give up on Wheeler. I know he looked bad in the spring. Let him go down, give him a couple starts at the fucking AAA level, and get his ass right back up because he's better than the 5th starter. He's better than Lugo, better than Gazelman. I think he could be better than Matz. So I think maybe humble him a little bit, bring him up, and he'll come back with a little balls in the fucking knot.
All right. And what about Familia, Swarzak, Blevins? You happy with the bullpen?
The bullpen's pretty good. I mean, Blevins is good. The Swarzak was the pickup, but he was like the only pickup in the offseason. Like, what is Sandy doing? And then he made a couple of moves and made up for it.
Right.
And then Vargas is starting the season on a DL, another lefty. So that's good that they're going to have potentially 2 lefties out of the 5 starters. I like Familia, another guy, when he was hurt. I mean, last year they lost Cespedes, they lost Syndergaard, they lost Jeris Familia. You cannot win in this league without your closer, your best hitter, and your best pitcher. You just can't. It's impossible. They got lucky the year before because of the Lugo and Gazelman. Nobody really knew what they were throwing, and they got by a little bit in their last month and squeezed into the wild card. They actually had the best wild card record at the home. But I think this year you're going to see the Mets. The problem areas are catcher and first base. I think they're pretty solid everywhere else. They have that extra infielder. So if a Rosario doesn't do good, they could send him down, give him a little fucking head clearing time. They could put Wilmer at short or Struble or whatever. There's plenty of options in the infield. Reyes, I like bringing Reyes back. I don't think he's a great influence on Rosario, and I think that was the problem with Carlos Gomez when he's with the Mets is that Reyes, he didn't have to get him. They see him not running ground balls out or pop-ups out, and they, well, if he can do it, why can't I? Right. I don't want Rosario to fall into that trap, but I think Reyes is a little more humble, a little older now. He's happy with the Mets. They brought him back last year. He can play 2 positions. He can play 3 if you really want to count second. Yeah. Good bench guy.
In the twilight of his years.
Yeah, so I like Reyes the first time around with the Mets. Other than that, not hitting in that last game to pull himself out for the batting title for the free agent market.
Right.
That Reyes, I was booing, but I like this Reyes. Don't beat up your wife, and fans will fucking like you. Even if you don't hit a lot, fans love Reyes. I mean, you still see a lot of 7s out in the stands.
Yeah. So what do you think? You said you liked the Mets to take the wild card.
I like the Mets to take the wild card. I think they'll take the first wild card, but if there are injuries like they've had in the past, where a lot of guys go down for long stretches, they could potentially be a fucking last place team. Maybe even with a bad Marlins team. But they are definitely the Phillies and definitely going to finish ahead of the Mets if the Mets have injuries.
Right.
So I think the Mets will make the wild card, and Syndergaard will be the main reason why.
And who wins the AL? NL East.
The Washington Nationals. Yeah, Nationals are going to win the East. The Mets will be second place.
I have the Nationals winning the East, and I have Phillies taking the second wild card, which would be the second wild card.
And who do you have for the first? You have the Giants you had?
I have the, not the Giants, the
Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay. Good pick. Now, I already said my Cy. Who's going to win yours?
I
got to pick MVP still.
Someone for the Nationals. I think Steven Strasburg. Not Scherzer this year. I like Strasburg coming back from the Nationals.
Okay.
And winning the Cy Young Award.
Who was your did you have an MVP?
I did not.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I think Bryce Harper, and I'm not going out on a fucking limb, but it is his walk year. The guy is always in the running anyway. I think he's going to have a little bit more this year because he wants, and then that's human nature. He wants to, even if he stays with the Nats, he wants the fucking biggest contract in baseball history, and he might deserve it. If he can win an MVP this year and lead this team to a World Series, maybe, he's going to earn that fucking contract. So I just stop with the taking the helmet off and flipping your hair as teammates. I hate when that's so gay looking. Other than that, Bryce Harper, you got a nice head of hair. I'm jealous.
I think that there's going to be a lot of candidates for MVP in the National League. A lot of guys are going to have big years, but I think it's going to be Paul Goldschmidt because he's going to have a consistent year, and he's going to be the main reason why the Diamondbacks go to the playoffs. I think Harper is going to have a good year. I think Chris Bryant, Rizzo are going to have a good year, but there's going to be a lot of things around them that make their team win. Cody Bellinger, same thing. I think that Goldschmidt is going to, be in the class with them, maybe a little bit above them, and with nothing else really helping out on his team,
leading them to a
postseason berth.
Which obviously that does have some say in it. Not always, because we know Andre Dawson won it in the '80s when the Cubs finished in last place, because there was no clear cut winner that year. But Goldschmidt's that's a good guess there. Harper's a good guess. So we both kind of picked possible obvious names, but I just think Harper's going to have such a big season because of that walk year.
Absolutely.
And then maybe the Yankees get him in 19.
And Machado.
So that's it. That's MLB.
That's MLB.
6 shows. We picked all our fucking guys. So you could laugh at us, or you could say, man, those cocksuckers fucking know their fucking game.
Probably not.
If I get the Mets one right, I'll be happy. I don't care about the rest of them.
Yeah, that's true.
That's going to do it for this episode of A Shitload of Sports. Keefus, you'll be seeing a lot more of Keefus on this program. See you next time.
Take care.